Let's talk about the Dragon Spirit Duology by K.X. Song. We have The Night Ends with Fire and The Dragon Wakes with Thunder. First off, I have to say that these jacket designs are absolutely stunning. Just gorgeous. In this reimagining of the legend of Mulan, we have Mei Lin, a young woman who wants to be in charge of her own destiny instead of at the mercy of the men in her life. When her father decides to sell her off for her dowry in order to pay off his gambling debts, Mei Lin decides to take her fate into her own hands. With the help of her stepmother, she disguises herself as a boy and leaves to join the army. But before she goes, her stepmother gives her a jade pendant that had once belonged to Mei Lin's mother. Mei Lin eventually comes to realize that the pendant is attached to a sea dragon spirit, and she enters into a bargain with him that will give her power and name recognition, but also could ultimately destroy her and everyone she cares about. The first book starts off strong as we follow Mei Lin on her journey to becoming a powerful spirit summoner as she seeks glory and recognition. I enjoyed the first book enough that I picked up the second one because I wanted to know how everything played out. I needed to know how her story wound up. The second book picks up right where the first book left off, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers. I really liked that it did that. However, I did not like this one as much as I did the first one. I was really rooting for Mei Lin in the first book, but in book 2, she was quite unlikable. She did a lot of flip-flopping in her romantic entanglements and in her motivations. Is it her motivating herself, or is it the dragon influencing her? No, wait, it's her. No, wait, it's the dragon. Just figure it out already. The love triangle was difficult to like. Love interest number 1 in book 1 was great, but then in book 2, he did some things that were awful and seemed really out of character. Love interest number 2 had all kinds of red flags in book 1, but then in book 2, they seemed to have kind of disappeared and he was now great. I was confused, and I had no idea what either of them saw in Mei Lin in book 2. But to be fair, I'm not really drawn to romantasy, so maybe it was just me. I did like how the books address some societal problems such as the oppression of women, addiction, equality, balance of power, and our desire to leave behind a legacy. I think one of my biggest disappointments with these is that Mei Lin is supposed to be this warrior, and though there is plenty of action in both books, we only see her fight a couple of times. Instead, she seems to constantly be being rescued by a man, which really undermines one of the central themes to the books. So, final verdict, this duology is pretty good. It's not bad. I did enjoy the first book more than I did the second book. The prose is lovely. The setting is well done. I liked a couple of the secondary characters much better than the main characters, and unfortunately those 2 secondary characters had very unsatisfactory endings. So I'll be letting these go even though they are beautiful. They'll be in my Pango shop at pangobooks.com if you're interested, and the link is in my bio, so please go check it out. Anyway, these are just my thoughts. What are yours? Comment? Let's talk about it.